This is another thing that's kind of hidden. The idea of talent. I hate that. I hate the idea that you either have talent or not. You have learning and you have the hours you put in it, and you have mistakes. You can be born with an aptitude that is going to get you like 10% of the way into it. The other people that weren't born with that will put the hours that requires to walk those 10% and then be at that same point. That's it.
Today, we are listening to a conversation that was recorded live in front of an audience a few weeks ago. This is a chat with a friend of mine, Daniel. Daniel is an incredible human being. He is a physicist and software engineer, but he's also a musician and performer. And I've met him 2 years ago when I joined one of his workshops for the first time. Daniel created this incredible organization called Jam with Humans. And what they do is they create a space for people to experiment with music. So 2 years ago, I found this music workshop. It was open to anyone, no matter their level. So I went to the workshop, and there is so much freedom and safety and trust in this environment. I never thought I was gonna do music. I never thought I was gonna have a space to create, and I get to do that, and I just get to have fun with music and sound. A lot of that is thanks to Daniel and his project. So today we're gonna listen to the conversation we had, and you get to hear a little bit about music and uncertainty and connection. I hope you have fun.
Oh, it's really weird for me to be hearing my own voice in my ears. It's very strange.
Is it better if I
It's
talk
very
to?
strange. Yeah, it's really strange. Cool, nice. I will take this off because I don't want to. I'm very self-conscious of that, or else I'll start singing. Oh, it's very nice. Yeah, cool. Oh, thank you everybody for coming in. Yeah, essentially we've been running this thing Jam with Humans for a while. We should have had our Jam with Humans banners. Whatever. We also edit in post. We've been doing this Jam with Humans thing for a while, and we do these workshops on Sundays. Then we sit down around the table and have like great chats. And I kind of like the idea of Jam with Humans being a place for conversation about music. It's nice to have some space for conversations. I would say don't worry about the fact that there's cameras and there's stuff recording. We wouldn't put anything anywhere that's embarrassing. It's more that we're also not worried too much. It's more that if we happen to say something that's interesting, we can put those 10 seconds in social media. It's the truth is that social media is the way to get people to get to know you. So
To get off social media.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, to surprisingly to do offline events. Yeah. We're not doing streaming, so that's also a strategy. We do improvisation. That's like any show that we have, and I know that because I look at the footage. If you just scroll around and watch a few seconds, is not great because we bring people in. Like there's a journey that comes in throughout our show that makes more sense. It's meant for the people who are there, first of all, and it sounds very like it's sentimental. That's a journey. It's a very mystical that there's a journey that we bring people. But yeah, we're kind of creating something throughout 10-15 minutes of improvisation, and just scrolling, picking 3 seconds here or there always feels a bit weird. Hey, before officially starting, I was thinking of going around and
Yeah, we'd
for
love to
everybody.
also have
exactly.
everybody
Yeah.
introduce themselves. Be really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, we can just start it.
Yes.
Start it. Cool.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Cool. Yeah. Do you want to do a warm up exercise?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we should do some free jazz to start.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, nice.
I think everybody's awake.
Warms up, song and everything. Nice. That's cool. Nice. Yeah. let's just start,
Nice.
and then we'll see what comes out from here. Yeah,
Nice. So
with the magic of post editing.
yes,
It's amazing.
yes.
Yeah,
So
you start.
So first thing is that the first time I ever did an interview and I had to record with a mic, I have spoken not into the mic for 2 hours. So first thing on my mind today is speak into the mic. And then second thing, yes, introductions. So my name is Alessia. I am an entrepreneur, and the reason why I'm here, I guess, because I've just been on this journey with you, with Jam with Humans for the past year and a half as well. And so we've been doing music, but also I've been helping um, in building Jam with Humans behind the scenes with my background as a business coach, I guess. And so yeah, we've come together to this. And I guess sometimes, I guess I'm good at picking Dan's brain because he has all these amazing things in his mind, and then I'm like, Dan, that's good what you just said. So I think that's why I'm the person that is here talking to Dan with you. Okay.
I'm glad you also mentioned your involvement with Jam with Humans, although I kind of was hoping that you just present yourself as an entrepreneur and everybody would think, what the fuck is a music
Yeah,
workshop?
I know.
Why is she doing here? Yeah, no, but I think it's worth to talk about how you join in Jam with Humans, because I think that this is really a workshop. And I think I could say that from everybody. Like today, we only had people that came into the workshop before. Usually, that's our audience, because people coming back, you pass through the filter of thinking, like, this is very different. Maybe I haven't seen stuff like this. I'm still coming back. I'm still going to see it again. That's usually our audience. Alessia did that on steroids because she joined in the workshop. And we were launching our second. No, we were launching our.
Second.
No, it was the second part of our course, but the first time we did that 1st part, and people, surprisingly to me, I thought I was. I always think that is surprising when people are willing to pay for things like this.
That's the other thing I do for Daniel.
I think Alessia helps a lot with that.
Because too many artists think that they cannot charge for things they do.
Yeah, I think.
Then I'm like, no, you're creating value here for people. Look at that.
Alessia is doing that kind of therapy for me and other artists around, which I see that works very well. I will wrap up on the fact that Alessia came to one workshop, and I mentioned at the end, we have this course, these people did it, but there's a few spots left, and Alessia said, I will join in. But Alessia had just arrived in Amsterdam, and also had never played music before.
Oh, yeah. That is also a thing.
And that's what I mean by doing it on steroids. Not only kept coming to the workshops, but also said, yeah, I'll join the course in improvisation, sure.
Well, because the tagline for the event said anyone can show up and it doesn't matter your level. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to show up, and then worst case scenario, I'll play the triangle, which I don't know why that was the image I had. Because there is nothing wrong with anybody playing the triangle, but that was my idea of something simple to do. And then you said, no, I mean, yeah, you can also grab a mic and do something. And yeah, I was singing when I was 9, very, very briefly. So I thought, sure. And then, yeah, how crazy. I don't think I would be singing as much as I have been.
Or playing the bass.
Or playing the bass. Because if you put me in front of a teacher where they just tell me, hit this note, I had all these walls and fears that prevented me from actually trying. So physically, I would clench up, my body would clench up. And this has happened. And so I could never be I would have not started. But then because we had this environment that instead was completely free, and Daniel would say, yeah, just do whatever, that allowed me that freedom to play.
I think the fact that you actually looked into the description of the event also speaks to the fact that you are our audience, and that it was something that allowed me to have trust in working with you as a business consultant, because it's surprising also how much those descriptions are not read. So also that was another point in favor. And anyway, most people are here already. So I tried so much to show that it's a safe space, but I think it's just people need to come and try it out and hopefully feel that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Danielle, in on stage I've been going by Danielle by night because it confuses people, and also I tried going in my full name for a while and it confuses people more. So this one is more clear, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about the journey of Jam with Humans. So the reason why I'm here, I think it's obvious. So we'll skip that part.
I love Daniel by night.
That came in from. Well, I'll explain that some other time. It's not important. I want to hear from everybody as well. Your name and why are you here?
That's funny. Can I be heard? This is
Yeah. There's like so many mics around.
So my name's Luis. My teacher has told me that I need to play with other people in order to improve improvisation. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to come.
That's a good guitar teacher that tells you should go play with others. It's impressive how many teachers never mention that. I don't think the only reason to play music is to play it in front of other people. However, we did pick that venue, that avenue here in Jam with Humans, that we teach music that is meant to be played in front of others. Because when you have that mindset, then you have to be aware that you're always playing to an audience, and therefore you need to keep the audience in mind. And are you being respectful of their time, and do you have their attention, and so on? So you end up making different music. So we picked that. I don't want people to think that it's not valid to just learn an instrument to play on your own at home. It's just that we picked not to go with that. But it's impressive how much that is not discussed, and then you are put into an audition. Maybe if you went like me to music school and you put to an audition with all the other parents. I did when I was a child, and like that's scary. I have vertigo, and first time I did that, I felt the floor moving. And I thought, oh, this floor moves. It's a stage, so it's plausible that the floor moves, because it did feel like that.
I was going to say that I've come to the realization actually that playing live it's trying to, I mean, for me at least, I think this is my reasoning, is that it's also a way not to be selfish. I think in a sense, like you know, if you're home playing and I'm like, well, this is good and all. I was like really happy about what I was doing, but then cool for me. But it's not the same thing. I think if you play in front of other people or with other people, it's a way of sharing your thoughts and your creation, which can be input for somebody else to create something else or to not go that route. Maybe what I'm playing is shit, and they're like, yeah, I was gonna go for that, and then maybe he's showing me that it's not a good idea. So I think it's actually also a way to like become less selfish and actually, a good reason why to overcome stage fright, I guess.
Yeah. To me, you're talking about connecting. You were saying I'm gonna go out there and connect with other people through music, and then maybe they find something new from that connection. I guess that's how I interpret it.
Sure, no, absolutely, and vice versa.
I guess what I was trying to say and failed at. I was trying to mention why is it important, the part of playing in front of others. But I think that it's what is being neglected is the part of music being about connection, being language, being a way to express. It's a channel for expression. So neglecting the part of playing in front of others is neglecting the fundamentals of music. And then music can tend to turn into something technical, purely a learning of mechanical skills in your fingers or your vocal cords or something like that. And I have very little interest for that. I was always bad at sports. I don't care about sports, and that just feels like sports. It's just trying it.
So true.
Just trying a thing. There's no point. There's no point in that. And that my interest is that extends to. We were talking about comedy earlier, and it extends to all stage performance. It's essentially theater, music. These are all ways to connect with others. Communication. And that can be lost. So okay, we hit there, I guess, one of the pillars of Jam with Humans, which is trying to. That's the human and with humans part of the Jam with Humans. I'm very happy with that part of the name. I'm not happy that I called it Jam though, because it is confusing for a lot of people.
Sometimes I know you've said that, but like, what were you gonna call it?
Yeah, I did not know. Yeah, yeah. Create improvised.
Like anything else would have been. It would be so convoluted, and in the end, the simple ideas are the best ideas. So,
Yeah.
and then the logo is a jam.
Yeah, and you can do the pun that is a jar of jam.
It's a jar of jam with humans
I'm
in
pointing
it.
because we have T-shirts. By the way, we have T-shirts.
I find it very funny. So
Yeah, thank you. I had something else, but it escaped my mind. So
it'll come to you.
I always have that impression that there was a bit of lack of just music being part of the society and living here, the day-to-day living here is not that strong, not as strong. I come from Portugal; it's very strong there as well. I think Mediterranean countries tend to have that characteristic.
Depends on where.
Depends on where. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I think Portugal is very big on events, and I would go out. I'll see the weirdest things. Like, really, sometimes I think that things that would be just absolutely cancelled if they were in London, or if they were in New York, or if they were in Amsterdam. Not that they should, but that they would instigate too much hatred against it because they're so experimental, and yet they
That's
have so many people there. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I never really lived in Lisbon. I lived in Porto, where I during university, and I things that are considered niche here. And also, Porto is comparatively, if you think of the big Porto and big Amsterdam, is comparatively the same size in terms of population. The things that would be niche here, I could pick which of those, like a poetry reading night that goes through the whole night. Maybe it's not even stage thing; it's like a bar, and you can read your poetry, and you're there like until 4 a.m. I could pick any night which of the ones of those I would like to participate in. Here in Amsterdam, maybe I hear one of those once in a while. Maybe there's once a month there's a project that does that, or maybe even if there is once a week or once a day. It is still less. It is still less. Like, I had to pick between 3 niche or considered niche stage events any night. I would like. Yeah, it's really lacking. Yeah, I mean, this is a country that is known for its visual arts and architecture and so on. So, granted that it's not a country that is devoid of art, it has been a shock for expats, I feel like. And I'm thinking that all of us are expats except for Toran. Yeah, no, are you from the Netherlands? For some reason, I assumed you're from the Netherlands. I don't know why. I don't know why. You are from the Netherlands. Sorry, I meant Rufino. Except for we should. Instead of me making mistakes, I should go around and keep asking everybody, letting everybody speak.
You can tell by your accent when you speak English. Well, the most Dutch thinks that they don't have an accent in English, but they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Most Portuguese people think they have an accent. They not. I don't, for example.
Like a Portuguese accent.
You have a Daniel accent. That is the best way I can describe it. It's not Portuguese.
Rufino, who are you? Why are you here?
Hey, I'm Rufino. So, like I said, I'm from Amsterdam, born and raised here. My background is more in I'm a vocalist, singer, and then theater as well. So a lot of acting and dancing also. But that is also open level. I love that idea because I've been doing that sort of with dance and with theater as well, where you start with a group of dancers. We do like these jam sessions as well, and then we just play in just different styles, and we just let each other inspire each other, and I was like, I want to also have that with music, and I just love like the meta-ness of this this workshop where it's like, yes, precisely this. It's not just only about the jamming, but it's also like, okay, but why do you make certain choices, and what happens when you make these choices, and let's play around with that. I love that.
It does feel like therapy, though. But
Yeah, and you're definitely speaking my language because I came and during one of the courses we did, the first one where I wasn't even able to pick apart the instruments that we're playing. There were 8 instruments and 2 basses and 15 guitars. And I don't know many guitars. And I had to look at each of them and see their hands move and try to see if I could. So in all this madness of me trying to understand what it is to play with musicians, then we realized that movement for me is the key to unlock my creativity and my voice also. And so Daniel gave me a set of what was it?
Congas, yeah.
Congas,
Yeah,
yes, the
you did
congas.
play congas for a
And
while.
for me, the way I feel about percussions a lot is that I am dancing on the instrument. And I feel like what you were saying really speaks to me, to how it's all completely connected for me. It's as if when I'm really there, I'm possessed. and the movement and the rhythm and the voice are one. So this is how I experience music.
Because I relate also very much to what you said about like when you were singing that you would look up, because that my anxiety causes me to look up as well. So I had a lot of issues with my voice up until like very recently, where I was like I couldn't relax, so I couldn't really play. But doing dance and theater on the side of it allowed me opportunities. Okay, I can dress it this way and this way. And also, dancing is to me is like music is singing and dancing and playing the instruments. It's all of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when I showed up at their at Jam with Humans workshops, then there was space for all of that, because also Daniel puts a lot of improv theater techniques and clown techniques, and you use all this mix of tools. And so I felt like all the things that we did there, making mistakes, taking risks, being creative, translated to my work. And I work with small businesses, with big businesses, but there are some of the same things, which are the things of being human, the fear of being wrong, this thing we all do where we question our own ideas, our own worth, and there is the matter of trust. All these things showed up during our workshop. So for me, all the work we did, that's why I kept showing up, because it was really important work.
I'm so afraid. I reiterate it does not replace therapy, but I also say that for those who did not think that it does feel like therapy, to like anchor people in thinking that it does have that component there, because essentially all of the workshop and all of the courses we're teaching are related with thinking. They're not relating with actually playing the instrument as much, but it's about thinking, and thinking about listening to the others, thinking about the others. And that, now I remember what I was going to say, what occurred, something else, an idea that occurred to me, which is this other value that Jam with Humans is extremely political in this aspect, because when we are, and to me, I'm very politically engaged, maybe not active, but very interested, and it's something that is very important to me, to my life. Yet it's something that I don't reflect directly much on stage. That is common from a lot of people that do this kind of improvisation. From clowns is very common. Clowns are the least political, unless they are buffoons, like Borat we mentioned today. But otherwise, it's more evergreen idiocy, let's say. And usually that's what I like to do on stage, because it honestly usually depresses me. So I don't want to go into that. Yet it's anyone, I would fight anyone that tells me that art is not political, or there can be art without being political, because Jam with Humans is rooted on very clear political choices I've made in accepting everyone, in listening to others, and it doesn't matter. We don't need to put what ideology is behind it, because I don't care. But these are all political ideas, and that is another aspect that I wanted. I think that it helps with the success so far, because it kind of grounds us to that everybody's mindset, what everybody's mindset is, even if it's not spoken, and usually it's not spoken. So I'm also happy about that. We don't need to discuss that part.
And to what you were saying, Dan, about, you said our work is about thinking, and the exercises, and it's not as much as about playing. But then isn't that just a mean to get to something else, which is connecting and being
Yeah,
present
yeah,
and
yeah.
feeling?
Yeah, I think that's something that it's been difficult, and often I remind everybody of that in workshops and courses. Is that uh, and this is true for other people that do it, but the improv comedians pretend that this is not the truth. I try not to. Is that these are tools, these are exercises to learn how to become a better musician. It won't live on its own, or it can, but it's a lot more work to uh, get an audience and so on. And I've heard a few improv comedians, some of my favorites ones, actually coming to that realization that improv comedy became this thing that it become like an art in itself, when it has always been a channel to create interesting theatrical scenarios and a set of tools to be able to create interesting theatrical performances. I wanted to make clear that first of all, everything I say, it's not that I think that there's the only way to play music. I'm very afraid of people thinking that I'm absolutist in any way. And in the other hand, that these are meant to be exercises for you to go out there and go with your orchestra or go with your covers band that has everything written down, or any other band that has everything written down. That's common from covers band. That's why I said it. Nothing against covers band, but just saying that you go to your band where you are not supposedly doing an improvisation and do run some exercise like that, and then you will see an appreciably change um, in the way that you are on stage, in the way that you're connecting to the audience, with each other. I really don't like. I studied physics a long time ago. That's what I was doing in university, and I really like answers. I was studying fundamental physics, particle physics, theoretical. So I really like answers to things. I never liked in music, in for example in jazz. There seems to be this mysticism around people who are geniuses and savants, and they are amazing at jazz, and you are either that or not. And I really dislike um, the people who are considered that way, who then don't share. Not that people should be forced to share, but kind of like feed into that idea. I feel like if you cannot teach something, it's a problem of you as a teacher, not a problem that that thing cannot be taught. I have difficulties understanding if something could potentially not be taught. So that was kind of the basis for the beginning of the workshop: is how can I teach things that I was not taught, and how I can then I picked up along the way. And that was kind of the idea. It took many years for it to become anything, but the workshops really sucked for like 5 years. Like it was
I don't even
not
believe
5 years,
that.
but I would say
I
like
don't
three,
believe
4 years. Like people kept coming in because they struck a friendship with each other, and like we kept coming in and we started doing shows. But no, honestly, it wasn't great. There
I'm
was
sorry, I don't
like
trust you.
there were insights here and there that made it like increasingly better, but it wasn't great. But that's how you learn. Like yeah, learning means that you came from a place that you you are not doing something interesting yet. That's why there's learning, right?
Yeah.
This is another thing that's kind of hidden, the idea of talent. I hate that. I hate the idea that you either have talent or not. You have learning, and you have the hours you put in it, and you have mistakes.
But you know, there are many people in my life that have been told since they were very young that you are not good at singing. And there are these ideas these seeds that are
Yeah,
planted
yeah.
very early on. And I feel because of what we've been doing and how much we've been deconstructing things,
Mm.
that then I started telling these people, you can do whatever you want. It's just if you sing, it is what it is. And then you can put in the work or not.
You can be born with an aptitude that is going to get you like 10% of the way into it. The other people that weren't born with that will put the hours that requires to walk those 10% and then be at that same point. That's it. That's it. I know that there's many things that I'm not good at in music. I'm very bad at picking up tones. I don't have absolute ear. Not many people
Pitch.
do. Pitch,
Okay.
exactly. And a lot of people trained relative pitch to a way that it's close enough to absolute pitch, but essentially it's really one in a million, and it seems to be related with with having being able to be learned in early childhood. So I also saw on YouTube some people. I was trying to see if you watch the same stuff. This big YouTube educator, he taught his child to do it. He doesn't have it. He goes by well without it. He's a extremely successful musician, impressive technically and creatively. And but then he, just to prove it, he taught his child, and he can play a note, and his child says the name of the note immediately. And yeah, he tried them himself. The same things did not work. So there's some things you cannot do with ours, but also those things are usually technically,
Yeah,
they are not.
and there is a plus if you have that, sure, but there is a much bigger minus when you cultivate these ideas of what you cannot do.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's the much worse, because I thought I could never play an instrument. This was an idea that was ingrained in me for so long. And then yes, and then I showed up to one of Dan's concert, and that was the same day I came to the workshop. You did this show, and they called me on stage, as the way that you guys are here. They called me on stage, and they sat me in front of the piano, and they said, "Okay, play." And I was like, "Excuse me, what do you mean?" And so I had this piano in front of me, which was actually the instrument I tried to play as a kid. Like, we're going all the way back. The instrument that started it all, that told me you're not able to play instruments. And then you said play, and then I looked at you and I pressed one what's it called? One key, and you said play more. And so I played another key, and that night I went home and I thought, oh my God, this is just an object that makes sounds. And all the rest is just meanings that were given to this and so on. But in the end, the reason why I didn't take piano lessons was because it was very expensive. And even as a kid, I knew it was expensive. And I thought, okay, I'm not good at this. I'm not going to continue. And maybe if I didn't think money was a problem, maybe I would have done it. So to me, there is this whole side of this classic side to music that we put all these walls up. And I thought, okay, I didn't do this as a kid. There is no entry point for me in music and in learning instruments. And now here we are. I've been playing the bass for a year.
I feel like this is also so much based on our coming from Catholic countries, dominated countries. People tell you who you are since you're a child, and you have to do that your whole life, and that's it. It's incredible. I'm becoming more and more aware of that.
Shame.
So my fiance is French, and also coming from down there. It's incredible how our upbringings were the same, even though we were from 2 countries away, 3 in your case. Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible how much of that is failing in current music education. I really only want to teach stuff that's not taught in other music school, while more and more leaning into this being a half music school, because I think that is I know, I find that it's a fun challenge. I'm passionate about education anyway, so I like challenges of it's like you say, it's not possible to do that. Yeah, that sounds fun. Like, it sounds fun. And that show was a challenge that me and Nick, who constructed that show, we people build shows that have audience participation, unless they are not good at being on stage. But the skill is to create audience participation moments in which the audience is being guided, right? And so the construction there was, how can we make someone play the piano and guide them through learning how to play the piano live. That show, it's kind of my brand, and then I learned from Nick that it's also his brand. I like to leave bank on confusion. That's usually my brand in doing shows. That show was completely just based on confusion from us and from the audience.
I loved that show.
It was fun. You need to
It's a
go
good
back to
show.
it.
Bring
You need to go
back
back to it.
Lapis,
Yeah,
please.
it's like essentially all comes down to be able to have arts funding. That's another thing. But yeah, in general, also I want to bring it back to dance though, because it's another thing. This is nothing. I'm just interested in talking more with people that are doing dance, because I so much want to put more dance into Jam with Humans. We've nailed theater. We've had many representations of what theater can be in our shows. We had magic and burlesque, and we had a mathematician once, and
A mathematician.
yeah, we had Matt Parker, who's he calls himself stand-up mathematician because
Oh, I
he
love that.
is a great guy. And I haven't been poking through to the dance world, and I don't reach out. I don't know if it's social anxiety. That's something else for the therapist to figure out next. I started with ADHD, of which I already got a diagnosis, so I'm ready for the next
Yeah.
things to be diagnosed.
Yeah.
But absolutely, what you said about I don't go out, I don't want to go to a jam, and the amount of pressure that can bring. For a while I felt guilty that I was doing Jam with Humans, because I so much was doing this, because the alternative would be for me to try to find other people to play with and try to find shows, and like I didn't want to do
That's so
that.
funny.
I'm afraid of doing that. And so much so, like in the Nels, I don't think I did any shows outside of Jam with Humans ever. Because but that was essentially that was the idea. But for that same reason, I don't have dance here, because I never got in touch with dance people, and I'm not going to on my own to do that. Do you have closing statements?
Closing statements. I mean, I think I just love the fact that we managed to have this conversation with you all, and
Yeah.
the fact that we could do it this way speaks once again to the community that is around Gem with Humans, which I always keep telling that I don't know. I feel like when you're building things, whether it's a business or I mean, Gem with Humans is its own entity, and there is so much work you're doing, and sometimes I'm like, Dan, are you seeing this? This is amazing. Like, it's incredible that we can sit down, and it really does feel like this is a conversation we could have had over beers, which we do that every week.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what you said. You're like, okay, let's record one of these conversations because they're usually
Put
super
it out there.
interesting.
Yeah.
And you were right. And yeah, I just love that, the fact that
And
because this could have been much more awkward. I mean, I'm
yeah,
just
no,
saying.
for sure. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in.
Thank
You're all
you.
lovely.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. I'll put some music so it's less
Yes.
awkward.
Please.